The Bosphorok cruiser approached the edge of its assigned sector and pinged the sensor frigates assigned to the squadron's patrol route, logging the updates as they straggled in from the 5 escort ships that were scattered from 16 to 29 light seconds away. All of the frigates and the cruiser's own sensor suite reported detecting the same thing in the sector. Absolutely nothing. More than 20 light days distant from the star system where the squadron was based, the sector was in fact filled with drifting chunks of dirty ice that would become comets if something disturbed their orbits and they fell inward toward the star. To say interstellar space was filled with anything was a great exaggeration. The vast sphere of dust, gas, and ice chunks was so dispersed that it could usually only be detected with active sensor pulses. However, other than useless junk matter left over from the long-ago formation of the Bildergung star system, the squadron's sweep had found no indication of any threats. No stealth starships, no remnants of jump wormholes, no echoes of hostile sensor pulses, unless the Bosphorok counted faint echoes of Theranin sensor sweeps as hostile. The Bosphorok certainly did. No one in the galaxy trusted the miserable little green Theranin cyborgs, especially not those who knew them best, their peers within the Maxolx coalition. The joint operation to capture the strategically important world of Bildergung from the Giraptha was supposed to have been a Bosphorok initiative with temporary assistance from the Theranin. The Giraptha home fleet base and heavy shipyard at Bildergung had been a thorn in the side of the Maxolx coalition for millennia. In the last 1,000 years, 7 major Theranin offensives to capture that star system had ended in defeat for the cyborgs. The most recent 2 battles were crushing defeats that weakened the cyborgs across their territory, leading to substantial losses. Tired of seeing their idiot cyborg clients losing, the Maxolx had cajoled their Bosphorok clients into an uneasy and supposedly temporary joint operation with their hated rivals. The unexpected arrival of 600 Bosphorok warships, accompanied by nearly the same number of Theranin ships, had forced the Giraptha commander of the Bildergung base to make a difficult decision. She could fight a delaying action to prevent the overwhelming enemy force from quickly taking control of the star system's important military space docks, fuel stations, and repair facilities. But the civilian population of the single habitable planet would suffer greatly in what would undoubtedly be a vicious battle. Or she could retreat, send for more reinforcements, and conduct hit-and-run raids to harass the enemy until the home fleet could come back in force. She had chosen the second option, partly based on assurances from the invading Bosphorok that they had no interest in the planet or its population. They only cared about denying the star system to the Giraptha as a base for offensive operations. At the time, it was assumed by both sides that a strong counteroffensive by the Giraptha would come within months at the most. Both sides were wrong. The Bosphorok did keep their word to largely leave the planet untouched, even allowing Giraptha cargo ships to carry supplies to and from Bildergung, though the fee charged for transit, security, and armed escort by the Bosphorok soon made shipping impractical. With the population of that world relatively secure and the Giraptha home fleet busy elsewhere, a massive and costly operation to retake Bildergung had not risen to the top of the priority list. Until recently. The Bosphorok had not kept their word to leave the planet's population untouched because they had a strong sense of honor or because they wanted to avoid bad publicity. They had intended to break their promise almost immediately, but they just weren't given the opportunity. Their actions in that star system were restricted simply because their treacherous cyborg allies had not gone away as they had promised. Instead of being satisfied that the Bosphorok had solved a problem for them and moved on to address their many other serious security problems, the Theranin had maintained a fleet of almost 100 warships at Bildergung. Skirmishes between the 2 supposed allies broke out frequently enough that their Maxolx patrons recently had thrown up their hands and announced that their idiot clients could fight all they wanted as long as the conflict was confined to that star system. When that all-clear signal reached the Theranin at Bildergung first, their commander reacted instantly, activating a plan they had been wargaming for years. The Bosphorok held the advantages of having twice as many warships in system, and a greater percentage of those ships were heavy combatants. The Theranin, knowing they were significantly outnumbered and outgunned, knew they couldn't win a stand-up fight. They had one major advantage. The Bosphorok were at the end of a very long supply line, and that route passed through Theranin territory.